Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. We are here to review the NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix Raceway. So joining me for today's show is Sal Segala, and I am Fan for Racing Sharon. And we've got a lot to talk about. General overview of the Cup Series race at Phoenix, Sal.
Cool. It looked like a nice day out there, and looks like it was some good racing too.
It did look like some good racing. Well, I thought it was an exciting finish with Bell. He made that side-by-side finish with Denny Hamlin, and again, it was a really close finish. Denny Hamlin, I think, was disappointed, but he was happy for his teammate to get that victory. Bell prevailed in a very dramatic side-by-side finish with his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Denny Hamlin. Again, the second closest finish in Cup Series, in Phoenix Raceway history, to earn Bell his third consecutive, another historic thing for Bell, in the Cup Series this season. It's a record in the sport's next-gen car era. Bell's number 20 JGR Toyota went high alongside Hamlin's number 11 Toyota as the two cars dueled it out in the final two corners for a two-lap shootout at the 1 Mile Speedway. The 30-year-old Oklahoman claimed the historic win by a mere 0.049 seconds, making the second straight victory in the spring race at Phoenix. So not only did he win 3 in a row in the Cup Series for 2025, he also won back-to-back at Phoenix because he was the defending winner at that race. It was his second Phoenix win, the 12th career win. Denny Hamlin finished in second, followed by Kyle Larson. Then it was Josh Berry and Chris Buescher rounding out the top 5. Pole sitter William Byron was 6th, followed by Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Zane Smith, and Chase Elliott. Now, Bell did lead 102 laps, the most of any driver, but it was a late caution that set up the 2-lap shootout that I talked about, and that was a shootout to the finish. Again, Bell's teammate Hamlin got the lead on the restart and led at the white flag, but Bell was able to take the lead back, coming off turn 4 in the final lap and won by that 49 thousandths of a second. Catherine Legg made her Cup Series debut, but spun on 2 occasions and finished in 30th place. The fastest lap bonus went to Michael McDowell in the number 71. Stage 1 was won by William Byron. Stage 2 was won by Christopher Bell, as well as the race. There were 17 lead changes among 6 drivers, 10 cautions for 73 yellow flag laps. The average speed of the race, 92.141 miles per hour. Sal, your thoughts on the top 10 finishers here?
Yeah, it was another great win for Christopher Bell. I know we the last couple weeks I was telling you about how JGR was talking about somebody taking over the the helm from Martin Truex Jr. who had retired, and I don't think anybody on that team expected Christopher Bell to pull off the 1, 2, and then now the third win in a row, especially his teammate Denny Hamlin, because Denny so far this year has been really super quiet about this is my year, I'm going to win the championship this year. Last year he was blowing every podcast, every chance he had. He was the town crier on how he was going to be the champion, and notice this year he kind of took a different avenue, especially after getting beat by Christopher Bell on Sunday. But Kyle Larson continues to show his strength, as a driver, that's going to be one to be reckoned with for a long time. It's good to see Kyle Busch, finishing up in the top 10. Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, who always runs good at Phoenix, but you really got to take your hat off and say congratulations to Christopher Bell for getting that third win in a row.
Absolutely.
And the way he did it, it's gosh, I mean, what can you say? William Byron continues, to just be the quiet driver that he is, and
He's there.
he's gonna have another good season. He doesn't make noise. He just
gets in the car and does his business.
He just stays consistent.
He does. He definitely does.
And that's what you want from a driver. You want consistency. It's good to see Alex Bowman. Also, grab that 7th place finish.
Yeah.
Of course, there are some drivers that are down at the bottom. That we're hoping that'll start to
rookies. Our rookies were at the bottom this week. Riley Herbst ran into some problems. He had an accident that took him out on lap 96, along with Carson Hocevar and Chase Briscoe. All of those drivers are out on lap 96. Justin Haley was out on lap 98. And on lap 99, 2 more drivers. You had Cole Custer and Brad Keselowski out of the race. And Shane Van Gisbergen on lap 100. And then on lap 210, it was Catherine Legg. We talked about the fact that she had a spin that took her out. On lap 265, it was Bubba Wallace that was knocked out of the race. And on lap 289, an engine problem took out Ryan Blaney. I was so disappointed about that. I really thought he had a good chance at going after this win too. But he had said laps before that he thought his engine was going, and it finally did give out on that lap 269 or 289. So, and Michael McDowell, he had the fastest lap of the race, but he ended up finishing a few laps down. There were just 20 drivers finishing on the lead lap here, Sal.
Wow. And you got to feel bad for Brad Keselowski. He has another bad week, another accident. He's probably wondering, gosh, when is all this going to end?
Yeah.
And then Ty Gibbs is having his issues this year too. He's not the same Ty Gibbs that we were watching from last season. So, there's 2 drivers right there, that hopefully, they'll get their
Cole
mojo.
Custer too.
Yeah, Cole. Well, Cole was running Xfinity last year, so this is technically his second full NASCAR Cup ride.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I think the adjustment has been tough on him for this next gen car.
Well, it kind of has to be. He, especially sitting out, having to race that one extra year of Xfinity because they didn't have a car for him for to run Cup. So now he's starting to adjust. I mean, when I talked to him at Irwindale back in December, he said himself, it's going to be a tough season. He goes, because I'm not going to be used to the to the 36 weeks. He goes, as compared to Xfinity, we don't run we don't run that many races. He goes, now you got to get back into the mindset of not only that, he goes, but longer races, plus, all the sponsor, commitments, during the week, team commitments during the week. He said, his whole lifestyle is going to change, so.
And he's got a child now too.
He's got a child, plus he's married, so I mean, all that, you talk to the drivers, and the ones that are new to this with the, with the children and stuff, it makes a difference. It takes its toll on them. I mean, even when I talk to other drivers, that have kids, just out here, on the West Coast, our short track drivers, they say it's hard, because if your kid gets sick, you want to be home with the kid. You don't want to be out at the track, even though, it's around the corner or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can imagine as young as Cole is, to have to deal with stuff like that. But they get used to it, and they,
They adapt.
they move on. But going back to the top 10, I mean, it was a good solid finish for a lot of the Zane Smith, another one, Chase Elliott,
Well, I thought we saw two really exciting finishes. Actually, we saw three very exciting finishes with the ARCA Menards combination race with the West. The second closest finish at the track history for the Xfinity Series, second closest finish for the Cup Series at the track. So, yeah, we saw some exciting racing this weekend. But let's go ahead and cover the points now, Sal.
Okay, on the points end, points, we got William Byron leading the points with his one race win. Christopher Bell moved up. He's in second now with 3 race wins. Tyler Reddick in third. Ryan Blaney fourth. Chase Elliott fifth. Alex Bowman is in sixth. Danny Hamlin in seventh. Kyle Busch in eighth. Joey Logano sitting in ninth, who's been silent the last couple of weeks. Chris Buescher in 10th. Kyle Larson 11th. Bubba Wallace, who dropped in their spot because of his win. I mean, not his win, but his the loss that he had on Sunday, the accident. John Hunter Nemechek at 13th. Ricky Stenhouse 14th. Michael McDowell 15th. And Ross Chastain round out the top 16. And actually, you got Ricky Stenhouse and Michael McDowell who are tied right now in points. And then we got a 3-way tie with Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Joey Logano for the 7th spot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then the ones that are under are Todd Gilliland, Carson Hocevar, Eric Jones. It's, there's a little bit of a spread there, but it's going to be a battle to get in, I think, this year. Who's going to challenge Christopher Bell? We're going to talk about it on Hot Topics tonight.
And then you got Christopher Bell. He already has 16 playoff points in one stage win.
He's racking them up.
Oh, early. Yeah, he's another one that knows the importance of. He knows that this streak is going to come to an end.
So take advantage.
And while he's hot, you got to get what you can. I mean, that's.
Well, the fact that he won back-to-back at Phoenix, and where's the championship race this year?
The Phoenix.
Yeah, I think that's not good news for the rest of the competition.
Yeah, it's like the gambler you see in Vegas who's sitting there playing dice, and they get hot, and they just start dumping all their money on everything, before you know it, they got these big old stacks and they walk away.
It's just amazing.
With Christopher Bell's doing the same thing, he's on a roll. I'm surprised he only has one stage win. I figured with 4 starts, he would have a couple more stage wins, but either way, he's still finishing in the top 10, to grab those stage points.
I kind of see Christopher Bell as a very methodical driver. He might not have the car to win at the very beginning, but he works with his team. They make the changes. He methodically works his way through the field. He's there at the end, and he chooses when he wants to make that move. And it's always the best, a good choice. A lot of people could learn from Christopher Bell because I think his methodical thinking and his methodical way of going about business is rather impressive.
Yeah, so it's going to be exciting, like we said, to see how the season progresses.
It is. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this season. We don't have, the seniors, the old guard right now are drivers like Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Michael McDowell. Those are kind of the old guard, the veteran drivers now, and these guys are beating them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure eventually we'll see. Hopefully, Brad picks up a win this year, and that'll lock him into the, to the chase again. Daniel Suarez is having another horrible, horrible start. He's 29th in points. But these are all drivers, that can, these are all drivers that can bounce back.
Yep,
And
they will. They will.
Make something of the season.
Okay, Sal, I know we've got a guest coming up, Robbie Keneally. We're going to be interviewing him in just a few minutes here. So stay tuned for our next video because that will be coming out. I'm probably going to put Robbie's interview out tomorrow morning. It is a live stream for the Hot Topics, so you can go to the Fan for Racing Radio channel on YouTube, and we will have a live chat going during the live stream. And we've got a guest tonight. One of our subscribers, Jay knows this fella, Jarrett. He's going to join us on Hot Topics tonight. So there'll be 3 of us on Hot Topics talking about our list and any other topics that come up in our live chat tonight as well. So we are going to do the previews later on this week. In addition to Robbie Keneally, who we're interviewing tonight, Patrick Starapoli has confirmed a date with us. We'll be interviewing him on Thursday, March the 20th. We'll record that interview, and then we'll publish it on Friday morning. So watch for that interview coming as well next week. And then, of course, we're racing at Las Vegas, so we're going to preview the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series, all racing at Las Vegas this weekend. Sal's going to be at
Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway
this weekend.
Actually, it's the Spears car store now. Yeah, the SRL moved on to another track in this central part of the United States.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. So we don't have anything more for this video. So I guess what we'll do is we'll say thank you for tuning in. But we're going to go ahead and end our show. And we'll see you in the next video.
All right.